though.
Hello, I'm Nell, as y'all know. Crazy, but tonight um is one of them nights where you get a full testimony from me, in depth interview, hosted by the other castmates. You won't be able to see them; you'll be seeing me, but you'll be hearing questions from them. I just thought it was imperative on um tonight, today, where my best friend's birthday was, that I come on here and I just share my truth. Um, just with so much going on in the world, it's just the time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So you're going to be hearing a host of questions from T, KD, and Ish. Um, we're going to get personal tonight. You're going to get a personal, in-depth look at the way my brain works, the reason why I say the things that I say, the reason why I feel the way I feel, and what makes me. Um, again, none of it is perfect. None of it is scripted, but is a true, in-depth conversation about me. So let's get it. Let's rock and roll. What's up to everybody out there, for coming on tonight? Thank you for taking some time out. I know we popped in and popped on y'all, but I appreciate the support that we're gonna get tonight.
Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's a special exclusive tonight. Um, it's up to the ladies who wants to begin.
Good evening, everybody. KD, you want to start?
Sure, that's fine. Hello, everybody. Hello, Neil, and thank you for doing this. I know this is a special time for you. I know I couldn't imagine not having my bestie for her birthday, so um, this is very brave of you to do, number one. How old were you when you met your best friend, or do you remember?
Yeah, I met my best friend, and I'm gonna share a picture with y'all. For those that don't know, his name is Luther. I'm gonna know y'all know who I am, but this is my best friend Lou, also known as Smoke. And when I met Lou, I met all the guys because we live on the same block, on Redfield Street. And I met him when I was like 10 years old. He's a year younger than me. Today is his 40th birthday.
Hmm.
So I want everybody out there to help me wish him a happy birthday, happy 40th birthday. Um, but I met him when I was very young, when I was like 10 years old. Um, we met, started playing football. We used to play football in the park, and then it spilled over to all of us hanging out on the same block. I lived on the 2000 block. They lived on the 1900 block. It literally was like right there. So, you know what I mean? And we just grew from there. Um, it was funny because Lou was always young. Lou was younger than me. Um, he hung in the second kind of age group, hung back a little bit. He was with the younger guys that was on the block. But over time, you know what I mean, we just our friendship blossomed, and we went from just friends to like best friends. Every time you seen him, you seen me. Every time you seen him, you seen him. Um,
Mm.
so to answer your question, that right there.
Wow, that's a long time.
Wow, yes,
Mm.
yes. And now, what type of kid was he? I mean, how was his family structure growing up? What did you see of him and his family?
Well, just like any inner city family, you know what I mean? You know, we us growing up in the inner city, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that is, Southwest to be exact. He had a two-parent family. He had his mother, he had his father. They didn't live in the same house, but they were in close proximity of each other. His father lived around the corner, and his mother, lived on Redfield Street. And just knowing both the parents, they both had, and he also had a brother, older brother. Um, and then an older sister from from his dad having a previous relationship. But the family was love. I mean, it's just like any block that you grow up on. It was just love. He came from the trenches. He came from the mud, just like I did. Um, Everybody's story is a little different. You know what I mean? Even though y'all grow up on the same block, y'all grow up the same way. Everybody's home life is different. But I will say that he was a strong-minded individual. Um, he was a kind-hearted person. Everybody loved him, so it wasn't a fluke. Um, and he was respected.
Wow.
Wow.
So it was clear that y'all had a great bond. Um, how did y'all form that bond, number one? And what did y'all really connect on? And as you say, everybody loved him. But tell us, you as his best friend, what did you love about him most?
So answer part A of that question. How did I bond? How did we forge the bond that we had? Over time, just we all grown up on the same block. We all doing our thing. You know, everybody is doing their thing. You know what I mean? At one point, it wasn't even, I don't call it clicks because always a click. But you start hanging out with this one a little bit more. You hang out with that one a little bit more. I remember Beans and T, and being thick as thieves. O and T being thick as thieves. Me, T, and O hanging out doing our thing. So everybody had their season. It's just at one point, me and Lou became real close. You know what I mean? At one point, I had wanted to get in a car, and we was doing our thing. We was out. T was already in college, doing his thing. So a lot of the other guys hung out together. Me, Lou, Beans, and Mont. We started doing our thing. For the most part, me and Lou hung out little bit more. And this is around the time I think we graduated high school, going off to college, coming home from college, and just hanging real tough.
And what did
Right.
you love most about him as his best friend?
um, I just love the person. You know what I mean? That was my dog at the end of the day. Like all my homies, they all my dogs. Like I don't even consider them friends. They like family, like brothers. Um, and again, when I said like I said, when you seen him, you seen me. When you seen me, you seen him. So we was everywhere together. Everywhere. We did everything together. Um, he needed me. I was there. I needed him. He was there. We talked all the time. And we just hung out so much that it was just repetitive and it just became normal. And
Just genuine love.
just genuine love.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Just
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what's up.
Yeah. Now,
huh?
how, you know, like us as individuals, we all grow. We start as babies, children, adulthood. How and when did you notice his change in growing from a boy to a man, like that matriculation?
That's a great
How?
question.
Yeah.
That's a great question because as I said before, a lot of us hung together. Like we were a little older, right? Even though he's a year younger than me, you know, the me, the T's, the O's, the Beans, we kind of hung together. And then we had the younger group, which was Beans and them brothers, and they hung in that kind of clique. And I think the maturation process for me, seeing it in him, came like towards us being 17, 18, 19 years old, right? Um,
Mhm.
20 years old, like that time frame right there. It just, we grew up, we graduated high school. And it seemed like the moment we graduated high school, just things took off for us. We had to figure it out. You had to do something. You know what I mean? You had to get a job. You had to do something. Go to school. You had to do something. So I think the maturation process and that where we started hanging out and being on the same wavelength came around 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
Hmm. So that sounds like y'all, you did have a great bond, and it seemed like you had some struggles together, and that you helped each other out. I mean, even now, I
Mhm.
go to my bestie. But what do you remember his struggle then that you helped him with, and that he in turn helped you with a struggle that you may have been going through that only you two share?
Um, I don't think it was a. I think the thing that we helped each other with is just being each other, just being ourselves, and genuinely allowing each other to be themselves and grow within themselves and see the different levels that we can get to. Because again, coming from different households, different upbringings, you see different things, you see different challenges, you see different wins, you see different losses. I was able to have a household that had both parents in it, right? So I kind of that family orientation was real big for me. Um, I grew up in the house not only just having both my parents, but also a younger sibling. So I knew the dynamics of sharing my space with somebody else, right? And he did too because he had a brother as well. But I just sorry about that. I just think that what helped with us getting to the point that we got to is just each person had its own unique personality, and we fed off of that, right?
Hmm.
Where you strong in one area, the other person may not be. You make up because you're just around them so much that you kind of take on those same similarities. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was positive. It was nothing negative. We wasn't putting each other in negative situations to where the other person had to figure it out. Our interactions was always positive. We tried to remain positive. We wanted to be positive because we wanted to make something out of our lives, and that came with the whole block, that whole group that we were in. Everybody had that same mentality of just, hey, I'm gonna make it, and because I don't want to struggle no more. I don't want to live the way I was brought up. I want to make it, and I want to be something more than what's in and around me.
All
Okay.
right, then.
All
That's
right.
what I'm talking about.
Yes,
And you
yes.
still riding strong for the both of you. That's
Mhm.
good. That's good.
Yes.
And just to add this, it seems like it's been so long. Like, you'd be friends with somebody for so long, but his life was tragically cut short um, before he even reached the age of 20.
You're right.
Right?
Mhm.
Mm.
That
Um,
was just what my next question was now, actually
mhm,
leading right into that, exactly what you're about to say.
mhm.
Um, Knowing, we all know and we all feel, know that you guys were extremely close and how deeply you guys are and have been affected by this tragedy. Can you tell us a little bit, like, where were you and who told you the news of what happened to him?
um, every day we talk. We talked several times a day. Like, um, and I was working. I used to work downtown, um, and I was at work. And just like every day, it was normal. He hit me up, I hit him up or whatever. They're like, "Yo, what we doing at the work?" Or, "Yo, I need to go here. Let's go to the mall. Let's go grab these sneaks. Let's go here, whatever." And that morning he called me. It was like 9:15. He called me and he was like, "Yo, they out here tripping." And I mean, the girls out here fighting. He was talking about his wife and the next door neighbor, and then they had a altercation. And he was like, "Yeah, they tripping and whatever." So I was like, "All right, everything cool over there? You need me to come through?" Like, he's like, "No, it's the chick fight. It ain't, you know what I mean? It's whatever. It's cool. All right." So later that day, probably back at like around 11, 12, I hit him like, "Yo, I'm on lunch. What's up? Everything cool?" He was like, "Yeah, everything straight." They was arguing, fighting. They came back. The girls came back. The girls came back, or whatever, to try to jump her, but we diffused the situation, whatever, whatever. All right, cool. So this is probably about maybe 2 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I'm getting off of work at 4. You already know I'll be through there. Come grab you like we already did, because he lived at this point. We both lived away from the block where we all grew up on and where we all would come back to. He was living down South Philly at the time. I was living in West at the time. So I was like, all right, when I get off of work, I'm gonna sling past and grab you on my way home to the block, whatever. Boom. Um, and I remember a call like 45 minutes later from his wife, and the call was like, damn, um, I don't know if I'm getting the words right, but I think she said, yo, they shot him. She was like, they shot him, they shot him. That's what she shot. They shot him, she shot him. And I was like, who? What's up? What's going on? She was frantic. And she was like, yeah, they shot him or whatever. So I hung the phone up because I already knew what the interaction was that was going on. So I know it was like, once she said that, um, I already was in motion because I already was in my car going. So I ran to the block first. But he lived in South Philly. I worked downtown. He lived in South Philly, so it's not too far of a go. So I went to his block just to see if I can get through there. Whatever, cops had it all blocked off. So I spun on you and hit the block because I said, "All right, I gotta get the guys because we got to go out there. We got to handle whatever that I handle." Right? Get to his block. Was on the way to his block. They already had transported him to the hospital. Got the call. He was at the hospital. So we go to the hospital. We parked the car, and I just got this eerie feeling that just came over me. And then we walking down the bridge because he got taken to the University Hospital of Pennsylvania. Walking across the bridge, and I can hear from a block away somebody screaming, and it was his mother. And we inside of a parking garage because we parked the car in a parking garage, coming down the ramp to go towards the emergency room. And you could just hear her screaming, "He going, he going, he going." And at that moment, I knew he was gone.
Mm.
And the sad part about it is, for me, is typically after work, I don't lollygag after work. When it's time to clock out, I get the hell out. I used to work downtown at the bank, so when I got off, the bank would close at 5. I used to leave at 4 because I wouldn't take a lunch, but I was so senior. I was such a senior banker there that I had a little bit of reign or authority or whatever. I was the most senior person, so I could take a little 20-minute lunch or do whatever and leave at 4 or whatever and let the other people finish up for the rest of the day. And this particular day, I was bullshitting. I don't know why. I was just bullshitting or whatever, or just dragging my feet. Um, and I beat myself up a lot of the time because I said, damn, if I wasn't dragging my feet or had did this or whatever, or was just how I normally am in and out, I probably could have got down there and kind of saved the situation. Or it could have been me. And the reason why I say it could have been me and not him is because he got kids. He had 3 kids at the time. And they all was young. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
they was young.
So, you know, as you said, you think about what you could have done. Of course, uh, I pray that you can let that go because you know what, there was nothing that you could have did to stop what was going to happen. But what was your very first thought as soon as you knew he was gone?
I had
And
no
what was your next move?
I had no thought. Um, I had no thoughts. My mind completely went blank
Hmm.
for 2 or 3 days. I didn't process it until I think the day before his funeral.
And what was your thought when you did have a process?
Bro, I cried for like 3 days straight, like a baby,
Mm.
because I was like, "This it." Like this it. And we all know death is final. Um, but when you're young and you experience it because it happens maybe to like a relative. You might have not had you might have grew up with them and you knew them, but you may have not had the intimate interactions with them. And when I say intimate, just close ties with them.
Mhm.
And you never had like lost that. Like everybody's still intact on my mom, my dad, my grandma, my aunts. I lost an uncle when I was like 10, you know. But you can't process that like you can process that as an adult, especially somebody who's been enriched in your life. I mean, like intertwined in your fibers every day, all day. Like it's every day, all day, which is me and him and everybody else. And um, to know that the phone never is going to ring and him on the other end, or if I call him, he not going to pick up. But then just knowing that he had three children who he was a fucking amazing father to, that will never get the opportunity to experience that the way that the outside world who he didn't have to be responsible for won't ever get a chance to see that.
Mm.
And that was one of the most hurtful things, even just being selfish and even just being selfish on the part of, damn, I'm not going to be able to see him. I ain't going to be able to talk to him. I ain't going to be able to do the things that we used to do no more. But just knowing that dynamic of him being a father to his kids and how important that is to those children, and how even more important it was to him. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So, as you said, death is final,
Hmm.
right? And the funeral is like sort of a closure in a sense because it's kind of all laid out in front of you. And even if you were numb a few days before, that kind of is like the end process where it's in front of you for real and you're seeing it, and it's kind of even more validation that it's final. How was the funeral process for you? Like, what were your thoughts and feelings that day? If you could just kind of explain to us a little bit about that.
So I process death a little differently than some people may think, right? I understand that that's it. You know what I mean? And the ceremony part of it is just what what they do. And I don't mean to, again, I don't mean to have, disrespect anybody views how they view what they do with, with the with funeral, right? But for me, it wasn't closure. It actually was the opening of everything, the culmination of this. This funeral is showing me that this is now opening the door for everything else that was his life. Because being entrusted as the children's godfather, I now got to step up in a way that was entrusted upon me to do, right? Um, just because this casket goes into the ground is not final. It's not the end all resting place for Luther for me. This is the start, honestly, and the rebirth of him within me. Because I now got to take on those energies of making sure that his kids are taken care of, making sure that they have an adequate role model that's going to be there to nurture them and guide them, but also and instill those great values that he was, and letting them know that their father was such a great man and an even greater father. But also too, not just being words, not just being somebody that says, "Oh, if you need something, I got you," to the mother, and never hearing from that person again. I had to stand up and I had to be a son to his mother. And the reason why I say that is because when y'all seen him, you seen me. and and that likeness started to take place. So the memories that she's going to remember have me in those memories. So if I told him that I got her, regardless of whatever, I gotta stand on that, right? I gotta
Mm.
stand on my word. The moment I say yes, I'm gonna be these children's godfather. I gotta stand on it. The moment I give them my blessing, like if anything ever happens to you, I got your mother, I got your family. I gotta stand on that. I can't just let that be something that's said because it sound good. I gotta stand on that, and I've been standing on that for the past 12 years now.
Wow. And that's what you call a true, I want it, it's not friend family, as you said. Y'all became one because you hung around so much. You became like a second son to her, another son to her. His kids are your kids. And I know they were young when this happened. How has this whole ordeal affected them? How are they handling
It affected him mentally. His oldest daughter is crazy because they're kids. They're kids, and they've been traumatized at an early age. And they've seen their father get killed. They
it?
witnessed their father being taken away from them with their own eyes. So that right there has its own impact on them, right? Mentally. Even as adults, if we see that, we're impacted. So just think about the fragile minds, the young, tender, fragile minds that they are already are, and witnessing their father being stripped out of their lives so violently, right? Then he
Mhm.
had a young, then he his youngest child was a baby. Her her memories of her father are going to be far and few between, especially not as much as the older two, because they had opportunities to be with, cultivate that relationship with their dad, grow up with their dad a little bit, understand who their dad was. The youngest one, not so much. The baby.
Mhm.
That's why I came on here today and did this. I didn't want this to be. Um, I didn't. I wanted this to be um, an in-depth conversation on why I say the things that I say, the way I move, the things that I do, the way I love, the way I process things, right? And this man is one of those factors, right? And we're gonna get into other aspects of what an in-depth conversation with Nell looks like. But I take him so he's so ingrained in my fiber of what I am today because of who he was, how he tragically left this world without having the opportunities to do the things that we take for granted. Get up every day and complain about how I don't feel like going to work, right?
Mhm.
Or or have the or have the opportunity to travel to different places and experience those things that we can do right now, right? That's
Mhm.
why a lot of times on the show, a lot of times when I'm speaking, a lot of times when I'm doing what I do, is based upon how life is so precious and short, and how just a simple I'm sorry or a simple listening to someone, or just a simple changing your mindset could be such a benefit or can be a detriment. What happens if the relationships or the people that we say we loved, if something violently happens to them or tragically happens to them and we don't have the opportunity to say I love you once again, I'm sorry, or let's go to the mall, or hey, how you doing, or just say in their face,
Right.
due to somebody's
Right.
mental, what that can do to somebody's spirit.
Right.
A lot
Well,
of
they are
Sometimes,
blessed. They are
yeah.
blessed to have you. I mean, that's the one blessing that has come out of this. His kids have such an amazing godfather in you. And I can relate to your eyes being opening through the passing of a loved one. When I lost my only sister, that's exactly what happened. So I know exactly. what you're talking about. And we do tend to forget and still um, forget to tell those that we love that we do love them
Hmm.
until times like this come up. So yeah, I can understand that, but they are very blessed, and his mother is very blessed to have you in her life.
Yeah, yeah. And I was getting
Just
ready to piggyback off of your mental statement when you were saying how something as tragic as this really affects your mental. How has this incident
hmm
changed you? How has it, what has it taught you?
I moved different.
Um,
I'm
mhm.
different. This happened to us in our 20s, right? Our late was we what am I 40 now? So this happened to me when I was in my 30s, right? Early 30s, because this is it's 12 is going on 12 years. So I was at the end of my 20s going into my 30s when we lost them. And I've always I've always been had the teachings, the installations of be careful, watch your surroundings. We come from the trenches. We come from the mud, right? And to make it out of those environments are a blessing, right? But those environments also give us the social skills that we have today. It gives us the moxie that we have today. It gives us that survival skills that we have today. So as much as we denounce the hoods and the streets, you gotta praise them for giving you those lessons. Because without them, survival skills will be far few between, right? Scale low. It has taught me that a number of different lessons. One is love and loyalty, right? Love and loyalty ain't just words. Those things are actions that even in your darkest time, if you got love and loyalty for someone, with someone, it brings you through some of the most difficult and trying obstacles that you could face. Taking care of now so it doesn't fester into, damn, I wish I could, right? And what I mean by that is clearing up all kinds of controversies, adversities, challenges with the people you love, because the moment they not here no more, you ain't got the opportunity to fix it. Whoever's fault it is, their fault, your fault, or whatever. Um, it has taught me to always be on guard. And we just seen a situation here play out with one of our rap artists here in Philadelphia, from Philadelphia. It didn't happen actually in Philadelphia. It happened out in LA, but he was a Philadelphia artist. He was born and bred here. He was an intricate part of his community where they robbed him and shot him, right? And the reason why that happened is a number of different reasons. One, because people out here just have no regard for life anymore. Um, whatever it be, jealousies or envies or just trying to just making a come up leads people to do wild and crazy shit. So when I say I don't share, I don't share my, I don't share um, my private life with the world. That's one of the reasons why. Because you got people out here that don't want to see you make it for whatever reason, right? It might not even just they might not even don't even know you. It's just that they ain't got it going on, so they don't want nobody else to have it going on. Or they might be so down on their luck, or they might be so impoverished that they trying to have a come up and they looking at the freshest lick that they can get so they can survive. Whatever the case may be, right? So when I say I don't share myself with the world, because I don't know who don't like me. I don't know who see things and say, damn, I want what he got. So about by any means necessary, I'm gonna get it. I don't try to put myself in those situations, but you never know who undercover who looking at you funny because of whatever, or somebody could have told somebody a story. You could have had a old friend, girlfriend, or you could have been around people and they starting to drop little stories about you, and now people become envious and now they want to do something to you, but they can't get to me because I'm so in my shell, I'm so in my safety that they start to target the people that I'm next to. I don't post my mom. Or I don't got a Facebook, so I'm not posting her. She don't want that, right? It ain't because I'm hiding her. It ain't because I don't love my mother or I'm hiding her from. I just don't put her in positions to for anybody to have to go after her if they coming after me. I keep my private life sacred because I know what the world look like out here. I know what these streets look like. I know what these streets will do to people. They eat you up in a fucking moment. That's why I don't post my locations. That's why when I'm on vacations, y'all would never know until I got back. Or unless I say, yo, I'm going on vacation or whatever. But you might not know where I'm at until I got back and posted the pictures. And then you like, oh shit. Or or I might just post a picture saying I'm here to throw people off. Just because just cause. Everybody ain't always gotta know your business, how you move, what you doing. Switch up your routes. Go home a different way. You go home the same way 10 years out of your life. Make tomorrow a day you find another route. It may be the long route, but that shit may save your life.
Mhm.
Teach your kids, your young folks, how to stop putting their business out on everything. You think I'm telling my business to the world? No, you know why? One, they don't give a fuck. Two, they not interested in caring. And three, if they want to find out, they coming right to where you tell them to. So why give them a leg up? Because I seen this man right here, a loving father, a loving brother, a loving son, a loving friend, lose his life because of a tragic event, gunned down because of something stupid.
That
Y'all,
was going to be my next question to you, Neil. Do you think there was anything that could have prevented his, as you said about the young man that was gunned down yesterday? The pictures that his girlfriend posted, posted him and showed people where they could find him, possibly. Is there anything that you think that
well,
could have prevented your friend's death?
I don't know what could have prevented my friend's death. Only thing that could have prevented my friend's death is the person that shot him or killed him, not killing him, right?
Mm,
The person who robbed the rapper yesterday. What could have prevented that is that guy not shooting and killing. Um, we gotta be cognizant of our surroundings. We just can't turn a blind eye to it just cause. We gotta know what the streets is talking. We gotta know everything. Cause that's how you survive, right? I'm
mhm.
42 years old. I'll be 42 years old in July of next year. I hope I see it. And I say that to say there's a reason why I made it to this point in my life. It ain't because I'm cute. It ain't because of social status. It ain't because I know how to navigate Facebook and Instagram. It ain't because I drive a nice car. It's all because of my survival skills out here in this world. Me being able to survive to keep this roof over my head. Me being able to survive for when I go out there, that I'm coming back home to a home that I secured for my own safety. Survival skills of going out here and being in the mix with people and knowing when it's time to get the fuck up out of there so I can make it back home to see another day.
Right, right.
So when we say there was an interview that was done a week ago, now that all of the things that are coming out in regards to this, there was an interview that he did with someone last week, and he said he was out and about with his wife or his girlfriend and and his daughter, and he heard some guys loud talking so they could hear him, and they was trying to rob him. He got up out of this situation, right? So to me, that would say, all right, I gotta lay low. They watching me or whatever. I gotta chill. Ain't no posting on Facebook, Instagram. Be chilling. Be real low key. If somebody after you, they going and they watch you, they gonna watch you. If somebody's interested in knowing your business, they gonna find it. His girlfriend posted a location. Now you
Mm.
got to drop on. Why are we so quick to post our location? Why we gotta show our food? Are we? Why we gotta go out and show our food and post the location that we at? We don't post the location when we sitting our ass on that toilet, shitting that shit out. Why we gotta show the world everything? Are we that materialized? Our minds is that trained that we gotta let everybody know what we doing and when we doing it and how we doing it. If that's the
Right.
case, if we so
Yeah.
if we so enamored with the world knowing our business, why don't we just open our checkbooks, our pocketbooks, our bank accounts to people and say, "Come on in"? Why we keep our doors locked? Why we got security systems on our homes? If we going to invite the people to where we at, why are we doing that?
Right.
Right.
But then we get flack.
Mhm.
But then we get flack and we get hit with the, oh, you're non-committal. Oh, you're hiding. Oh, you don't want people to know who you dealing with here because you might be dealing with 15 other girls. If that's the narrative people want to run with, and that shit gonna keep me safe for another 10, 15 years, keep the narrative going. Keep it going. Because at the end of the day, I can't live my life for what other people think. And I've learned that over time. That's what kept me safe. That's what kept me alive so far.
Wow.
Is not worrying about what nobody got to say. I used to. I used to argue back and forth with 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 spouses, or with, well, you don't. I don't care about none of that. I don't care what nobody unearthed or think they find out or think that. I don't got time for that. I don't care about the he said she said. I don't, because at the end of the day, if it's meant to tear you down, it's going to, if you allow it. And I
Right.
make it this far in life, even not even just surviving, make it this far in life, worrying about what others is doing, or status quo, or what the latest trends is.
Mhm.
Right. Well, we got just a few more questions for you now. We thank you so much for sharing all that you've been sharing and even touching on the the uh,
Hmm.
rock
Right.
situation. Yeah. But let's take a question from the
Before we get that
audience.
question, Ish,
Mm-hmm.
say my condolences go out to his family, his mother,
Mm-hmm.
his father, his girlfriends, his kids, the people that love him, the people that he's in touch and impacted their lives. My
Right.
condolences go out to them.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Condolences
Yes.
to his family. Um, we'll take a quick question from the
The audience,
audience really quickly. Yes, Carmel asks, did they catch the person who shot your friend?
yes, he turned himself in 2 years later.
Mm.
Okay. And what's he serving? Is he serving a life sentence? We're not sure.
Nah, he's not serving a life sentence, but he got some time.
He got some time.
Mhm.
Okay. So taking it back to the block, knowing how close your crew was, how tight knit the bonds and the friendships that you guys had. How did this shake up the friend group, like the crew? Did it break
Close,
you guys up? Did it bring you guys closer?
it brought us closer, and we already was a tight knit group, but it reinforced a lot of points. Um, it brought us closer. It's funny because our block is unique. To a lot of us on the block is related some way, somehow, like through blood, through marriage. So when we call each other brother, we call each other cuz. It's really then deeper than just a regular friendship. Like T, y'all know T as being my friend, but that's like my brother. That's my brother. I grew up with that man since we was kids. We don't know nothing else but each other. We seen each other's families grow. We seen our children grow up. We've been there for everything. We more than friends. We brothers, and that's the reason why when any of us got something going on, we always there. We can be going away from each other 5, 6 years. You calling we coming. Um, T, hit me now. I want to do this. I ain't hesitate. I said, let's do it. Let's do podcasts. Let's do a sneaker show. You know, any other rest of them hit me. Yo, now I got something going on. I'm there. We here. It reinforced our position of what a true bond is, right? A true,
Mhm.
real loving bond, and it ain't no animosity. It ain't no hatred. It ain't no jealousy. Everybody is everybody is positive, and everybody wants each and every the next person to win. Yeah, we got some we got the characters, you know what I mean? But even the characters, we want the characters to win. And they all are. So shout out to my guys. Shout outs to, what I mean, my dog T, my boy Beans, Mont, O, Al, Reese, Snake, Butter, all of them, you know what I mean? All them guys. Mar, Black, everybody. Because everybody that I name um is always there. And I'm always gonna be there for them. Feast. And Feast ain't even for red field, but Feast too.
Mhm.
So do.
That's a true brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And that is truly admirable because you don't find a whole lot of people that big of a group that continue to be keep your brotherhood that you have. Among the brotherhood, how do you keep your friend's name alive? And what do you see in his children of
It-
him?
His name is gonna be alive as long as I'm alive.
Mhm.
Um, he goes with me everywhere. Whenever I have a new venture going, he's a part of it. Whenever I'm doing anything, he's there with me because he's supposed to be. When I go out of the country, I wear a T-shirt with his picture on it. This picture is like legendary. Like it, I'll even when I'm doing something like um important to me and it's growing me. I typically wear his a T-shirt that I had made, or actually somebody had made for me under my clothes because I'm taking him with me, right? So he go everywhere
Mhm.
with me. If I'm going on vacation, he in that bag with me. If I'm
Wow.
going, if on Sundays, he's in this room with me when we do Uncensored Minds, when we do Telemade Kicks, whenever. So as long as I'm alive, he is alive,
Mm,
right? He's alive. It's more than just um a memory. He's a part of my body now, right? So
mhm,
I gotta carry that. I gotta continue to carry that because I need him to see the things that we talked about that I know he would have loved to do. I know he would have been a part of. I know he would have been front and center,
mhm,
waving the pom flags because that's who he was. That's what we was. We always that for each other. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
can go back on some of the early things that T did early on in his career as a music producer and a video producer and smoking all the videos in the front and center and doing his thing and carrying the 730 flag. And I knew he would have been carrying the Uncensored Mind flags and the Telemade Kicks flags. It's just who he was. So that showed me that's how we moving. We move like
Mhm,
that. We move militant. And when I say militant on the lines of loyalty is always going to be there. That's why loyalty means so much more to me than just saying it. It means so much more than just maybe possibly wearing a Friday Night Light shirt. It means it is ingrained in my soul. Nobody can talk about none of my homies without them being there. Nobody can't say
mhm,
their name in a negative way without them being there because that's they and you can't disrespect them because as you disrespect them, that's disrespecting me. And I'm
mhm.
gonna stand up for my guys if they there or not.
All right. And um, do you see any of him in his children? like when you go to visit your god kids,
Most
what
definitely.
do you see of their father in them?
Especially the youngest one, who the one, and I spoke on this a little earlier, the one who didn't actually had an opportunity to be with this father the longest, like the rest of them, is she's just like her father, so melancholy, so quiet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
her presence is felt. You might not hear, but you feel her. She's
Mm.
just like her father. She moves just like her father. Um, so she is the second coming of her father. His son, you know what I mean, has some of his ways as well. His oldest daughter, they always say your first child is just like you, um,
Mm-hmm.
in so many ways. And, you know, so I see when I go around them, I get that his presence is wrapped around them all. You know what I mean? Wrapped around them. He's protected. So I know when I go there, I'm smiling. And I see him, I'm happy. When I get an opportunity to talk to him or whatever, it's positive
Right. Make you feel closer to them.
for sure.
Well, now, this has been such a special, special night. I know we all know Nell, but we saw another part of Nell tonight and have a little bit more of an understanding of Nell tonight. Um, I mean, I know today has not been easy for you.
I know a lot of
But
people thinks it's not easy. It's not. It has been because you understand and we deal with death around us all the time. But then when it hits so
Mhm.
home, and not when it hits home, not even close, when it hits home is a little different. But I'm out of the mourning phase and I'm in the celebratory phase. That's a difference. So when you're in the
Okay.
celebratory phase and you in the celebration of life, you're not down on your dumps because you celebrating that person versus mourning them,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to get up from the doldrums. I had to pick myself up and say, all right, now we cried, we did that. Now is the time to celebrate life. Now is the time to level up. Now is the time to carry the memories and just go full force and use this as fuel and motivation when you don't feel like getting up. When you laying in the bed and you dealing with MS or you dealing with a headache or you dealing with the trials and tribulations of this world,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you got that inspiration right there, that force makes you get up and say, damn, I gotta go live life. I got to because he didn't have the opportunity to. So I'm carrying that weight on me as well. But it's a good weight. It's a good weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a it's not a
Right.
it's not a boggle down, hold me down type of weight. It's that weight that helps you get up and moves you to
Mm-hmm.
be out here to do different. Be the best version of yourself. Be something that's more than just a pretty face or a nice smile or somebody that's a menace to society. I don't want to be that. I want to be historic. When people speak about me, I want them to say the love and the passion that I had in my heart was unreal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That comes from
Right.
situations like this. It comes from being true to myself, not giving in to the peer pressures that the world tells that you have to give into, not being what the world says you have to be, being more than that. Because at some point, the pendulum changes, it swings the other way, and people start to say, damn, let me put down the propagandas and let me start moving in a different way. Let me move
Mm-hmm.
the way that's going to be conducive to my happiness, not the happiness of what others say I have to be. Let me move the way
Right.
I need to move for myself because I can't move the way somebody else might want me to move because they might be moving me in towards strife, tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
or some type of issue. And I just don't want to go through that. So
Right.
when people say, no, why you hiding things? Why you don't like to be questioned? Or why don't you this? Or why are you so who you are? That's some of the very things. But then too, I look back on and I know I'm going a little further past your question, but I just had to say this. One of the main reasons why I took control of myself back, went and got help, right? It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong when you gotta when you see the pitfalls or the struggles that you see within yourself, right? You got to see those things because that's the only way to start to change, make a change. When you go get the necessary help that you need to be able to release some of the tensions that's on your mind, to become more healthier mentally, right? To remove those angers from your heart that's fueling your passions and and the very thing that you don't want to be. I want to continue to live life. I don't want to stop my life by possibly going to jail or ending up dead. So in order to curtail those things, I gotta make sure that I'm putting myself in the best possible, healthiest place I can, mentally, physically,
Mhm.
spiritually, all that. So I decided to take back the very thing that I may have lost at some point along the way, and that's me.
Mhm.
Go get the helps, talk to the peoples, get the anger management because there ain't nothing wrong with it. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting myself in a better position so I can add another 40 plus years to my life and be an old ass man, right? Old man with a story, right? An old man that's giving back to the world that he's taken from, that has helped him make it to this very point. So
Mhm.
that's why when y'all see us talking on these podcasts, because when we talking on the show, let me stop that because we're not even a podcast anymore. We're a conversation. But when we talking on our show and you see the passions that come from me and T, and you hearing us saying, that shit don't make no sense. Let's stop that idiotic way of thinking and let's start thinking a little differently. You got to understand our story. You got to know where we come from and the reasons why we ain't trying to go back there or lead our people back down these roads that they may have not traveled because we know when we turn back, it's pain back there, right? Looking forward instead of stumbling backwards or just having a different mindset and saying, damn, I can make it. Or damn, I could see this a little differently. I can mend the fences and reforge relationships that I once lost. I can go back to having a relationship with this person that I was truly in love with because I've healed myself. Right? We can't do that if we living in this mindset that I ain't gotta ask questions or I don't gotta or I can or what I say is golden and no, being at peace and being in love is is being true to yourself. One last question. Cause I know y'all ready to get out of here. I know y'all probably tired. I could go all night. Y'all tired? Y'all fell
No,
asleep? Put y'all to sleep.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
asleep. No, I'm sitting up here
Well, it was
just
some helicopter action going on
A
over
little
here, so
action.
I had to mute myself. But yeah, so we got one last question from the audience.
Okay.
Um, it's from Nafis, and he wants to know if you talked about how funny Lou was. You know, he says that Lou was one of the funniest guys that he knows to this day. So tell us a little bit about how
Smoke,
funny he was.
Smoke was Smoke. Smoke was a funny dude. You know what I mean? Smoke was a comedian. If he still was here, he probably would probably have a job in stand up comedy because the boy was funny. It was that raw, energetic fun. Um, and the reason why he was so funny is because he was such a quiet dude that you didn't expect that, but he was funny. Nafis knows him firsthand. As I said, Nafis is one of those ones that's one of the guys. And the day we lost Lou was the day all of us had lost a major part of themselves. Because he was just there for everybody. Lou was loved by many. And it took somebody outside of his hood, his comfort zone to take his life away. But Lou was loved everywhere he went. Everywhere he went. He had a big heart. Um, he was a real dude. He was a real cool dude that you would love just to be around. And you loved when he came around. So yeah.
Wow. It sounds like
man.
an amazing, amazing friend, father. all around guy.
Tonight again.
Well, thank you so much for your transparency, like you expressing yourself just like more in detail. We always hear you speak of your best friend and, you know, your sentiments for him. But just to hear it from a different perspective and a little more in depth and in detail was like really touching, you know, and very heartfelt. And we thank you for sharing with us this evening, especially on his special day.
Hmm. I wanted to, when I woke up this morning, um, I was compelled to do this because far too often, and a lot of the times, um, we get kind of bashed a little bit, right? And we talking to an audience. Our audience is 99, 95, or 98% women, and we appreciate that. But a lot of times,
Mhm.
sometimes our comments get misconstrued, or y'all looking at it from a place of emotion instead of a place of factual information that we trying to provide, right? And I wanted to come on here tonight to more or less share the experiences that I've grew up with that helped me to talk the way that I talk. The views that I share. By no means am I saying I'm perfect or I you gotta listen to me. I'm just saying let's find another way to view things. Let's dig a little deeper in our minds to when we start to look at different things, to look at different things with the perspective of, all right, how can we fix this? How can we make this better? What can we do to facilitate these relationships and partnerships so they can be solid? Even when little issues jump in there, how can we solidify these relationships so they cool and solid instead of jumping to conclusions, instead of walking away and ending it? How can we make them better? And you may say, well, I try, I may say this and say that, but some of the things that we say to people ain't the right thing to say because it's based upon just our views and never the views of each other together, right? We can always have our own opinions and go off of that, but sometimes our opinions on things are misconstrued. They're not fact based, they're of emotions. And we're leading the charge off of an emotion, and we crash and burn once we get past that, and we like, damn, I might have went too far. Damn, I missed this person. Damn, I wish I would have did this thing differently. Then you try to circle the block, or you still have some kind of connection or relationship, or you still have some type of whatever, but it ain't the same because you don't went too far with it. I'm just saying, look at things from a different perspective because you never know when you're not gonna get that opportunity to say something to that person again, or
So true.
it's just that over and you can't correct wrongs. So have those tough conversations with yourself, and not all the time are you right. And know that. Look yourself in the mirror and be like, "Yo, I'm tripping today," right? And shit, know when you
Mhm.
tripping. Just be and slow down. Slow down. If you in your feelings and you emotional, instead of picking your phone up and texting that person and cursing them out or saying something, take your time and say, is this am I just basing this off of emotions? Is something else on my mind and I'm taking it out on the first person I know is going to listen or going to entertain me? Because that's what happens sometimes. We'll have an issue with something that's going on in our home, something that's going on at work, something that's going on with another friend of ours, not relationship wise, but just a friend that whatever. And you pick up your phone, and the first person you hit is the person that you know is going to entertain your rant, and it probably is your significant other, because you know you can dump that on them, and hopefully you want them to come back with baby. It ain't like that, but sometimes that shit gets weird, and sometimes you gotta slow down and be like, am I tripping? Am I emotional? Or is this fact based? And if it's fact based, how can I just call them on the phone and be like, yo, I want to talk to you about something. Can we talk?
No,
Talking the way we talk on the show. Yeah, what's up, Tick? Gotta get out of here. People want to
no, we got to get out of here. But I just wanted to speak on Lou real quick because I told the story about what happened to Lou in my book, So a lot of it, I was like right there for it. Like he was my young boy. Like I was closer with his older brother, so he was like my little brother. So like I got him his first piece of pussy. like,
I
like,
figured.
This
like that was my young boy.
the
Like
influencer.
he, like he was just always around. Like that was my young boy. Like when I first started selling mix CDs, he was buying mix CDs off me. We used to battle over sneakers. like that was my young boy. And when that shit happened, like it made me sick. Like even that day at the funeral, I told my brother to pull over. I was throwing up and shit that day. That shit was
Mm,
worse. But it's like
yeah.
his energy always uplifted us. Like no matter what was going on, his energy could change the day. So it definitely hit us all hard, and I definitely miss him. That was my young boy.
Like I think we shared this on the show a couple of times before. Like if you're going through something, you could be outside sitting on the step. It could be
Right,
3 o'clock in the morning.
right,
He'll come out there and sit with you and just chill
right,
and crack jokes, y'all laughing, talking or whatever, and he'll never judge you.
right,
There'd be a never. It's a non-judgment situation. He'll listen. And then too, when he was going through his issues, he'll call me like, "No, she wilding,
right.
whatever." And we don't badge. That's why our conversations are a little different. Us homies, if our girl is tripping, you know what we gonna say? All right, you want let's ride out. Let's go down to South Street. Let's go get something. Let's whatever. To take their mind off of that, so when they go back home, their mind is clear and they can now deal with that a little bit more than me saying, "Yo, fuck her, leave her alone. She ain't shit. You should have been left or whatever." No, because that's just add more fuel to the fire. We did things a lot differently than what you see out here. So when talk, we talking from a place of experience.
right.
Saying let that shit go sometime, or step out of yourself for a minute and clear your head. So when you come back, you start to listen to the thing that the person's saying, and you get it. But that's for another show. That's for Sunday night. That's for Sunday night.
But
But
yeah,
thank you to
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank
KD.
you.
Thank you to Ish. Thank you to Tim for allowing me to open up and be myself, allowing me a safe place to come and share um, the beauties that is life and who's in it and what it means for them to be in it. Why I move the way I move. Why we should be so careful on what we post on social media and what we do and what we say, because you never know who's watching with ill intent. You never know who's watching with the intent of I'm gonna shut this person up or they having too much fun or whatever. You never know. So sometimes it's best to just leave shit to the imagination of people and just you live to see another day and you live to come home safe. I seen someone a couple of years ago. We was on vacation and this group went with us and they posted every day, every move, and they came home to their house was robbed. Why? Because they let people know they wasn't nowhere near home and they wasn't gonna be home for a couple of days. So it invited burglars or somebody to do something to their home while they wasn't there. So you never know what's going on. You got people that's hungry out here, people that's about their life. So when y'all talk about some y'all outside, know what that outside shit mean.
right.
Know what else
Mm,
Right.
y'all say that? It ain't just cause y'all outside at dinner. Mean that shit mean you active, you in the mix, you with it. I ain't outside. I'm in the crib. I'm chilling. I'm at the mall. I'm in another country. That's what I mean. I'm not outside at all.
well, we know I'm not outside.
Man, KD.
And
I'm never outside.
also, I just want to say, be mindful, of the positions that you put your loved ones in, because a lot of times,
Mhm.
it's when these kind of things happen, when you put people in certain situations that you didn't have to, go to.
You never know.
Right,
You never know. You could
True.
your family member could have had an argument with somebody in the street.
right,
You take a picture, you posting them, and you tagging them in it. Y'all out somewhere at a barbecue, at a lunch, at a date, at a whatever, and that person like, I got him.
Right.
And now you put your person, your people, anybody in a position because you want to floss for the fucking gram.
Right.
Don't post me. Don't post me nowhere. I don't need to be. I don't need to be that posted for me to post. I'll post on Instagram that I'm in motherfucking Canada. I'm sitting right the fuck in this house. I could post that I'm in motherfucking New Orleans. I could be in the supermarket on fucking 33rd Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I just don't got the time to be flossing for nobody.
Right.
Because when they catch you, you know what you're doing? You pleading your case to let you leave out of that motherfucker safe so you can go home.
So true.
Be mindful. Be mindful.
I
But
just
thank
had
you
this
to
conversation
everybody.
with Ebony today.
Thank you again. I started to say this earlier, but thank you to T. Thank you to KD. Thank you to Each. Thank you to everybody who stayed up with us tonight. Thank you for the people that's going to watch this. Thank you to all of those who support us here at Friday Night Lights, Uncensored Minds, Telemade Kicks, Karen's Corner, Raw Honey, anything that we got going on. Thank you. We appreciate it. You don't understand how that enriches our life, how that important, how that support helps us and just keeps us on and keeps us going. We love and appreciate y'all. That's why we have these type of conversations. Trust me.
Are we out of here?
Not that much tonight.
I was gonna cry, dog.
I let a couple of tears come down. I ain't boo hoo. When I get off of here, I'll probably start crying because I know I could feel it because I just having such a euphoric moment.
Right.
It's so euphoric. It's so pure. It's so real. The spirit has just come over me to say thank you to everybody for helping me get to this point of my life. This shit is so fucking amazing. And life is what we should be wanting to live. And it's people like this that we take with us, even if they're not here. It's individuals like I'm gonna always say, Luther Hawkins, John Barker, the countless of other people that along my life I met, and they become such important people to my life that I just gotta stand up and rejoice their life because they're so important to me. Thank you.
All right, people, we out of here.
Good night.
Thanks, Nell.
Thanks, Nell.